Welcome to this episode. Bienvenue dans cet épisode, where we'll explore how to get to know each other, greet people, saluer les gens, ask questions, and register for activities in French. Through concrete situation, we'll follow Thomas and Marie-France during their first meeting at university. We'll also see how, in different contexts, we exchange personal information and use appropriate polite expressions. Get ready to discover the subtleties of communication in French, whether in a queue, during registration, or simply when greeting a colleague. Let's look at a common scene. People are queuing. Who are they? Qui sont-ils? Where are they? Perhaps they're waiting to register for a class or get some important information. Queuing is often an opportunity to exchange a few words with strangers, share an expectation, or ask questions about the organization. It can also be a moment of silence, depending on the culture or the situation. This scene invites us to reflect on our own habit. Do we easily talk to others in these moments? In this episode, Thomas meets Marie-France rencontre. They meet in a queue, file d'attente, at the university, université. It's a typical situation. Situation typique for starting a conversation, conversation, a common place, lieu commun, a shared goal. Thomas and Marie-France chat, discute, échange idéas, échange about their studies, études, and get to know each other, faire connaissance. This type of encounter, rencontre, is common, courant. At the beginning of university, when everyone is trying to find their way, trouver sa voie, and build new relationships. To better understand the scene, let's ask ourselves a few questions. Where are Thomas and Marie-France? Où? Why are they waiting? Pourquoi? Do they already know each other? Se connaître? What program are they studying? Programme d'études. These questions help to establish the context, and practice listening, écoute, and reading comprehension. They also provide, offrent aussi, a good opportunity, bonne occasion, to practice answering precisely, using vocabulary, vocabulaire, appropriate to university situation, situation universitaire. Thomas and Marie-France are in a queue, file d'attente, probably to register for a course, s'inscrire, or get their student cards, carte étudiante. They don't know each other yet. Se connaître. This is their first meeting, première rencontre. Both are commenced their university studies in different science programs. This kind of conversation is common at the start of the academic year and helps break the ice, briser la glace. Making contact with a new person can be done in different ways. You can greet, introduce yourself, or ask simple questions. Depending on the situation, one choose a formal or informal tone. For example, in a university context, one can say Bonjour, je m'appelle Thomas, or simply Salut. If the atmosphere is relaxed, it is important to distinguish formal situation from informal situation. In a formal context, one use bonjour, au revoir, bonne journée. In an informal context, one préfère salut, bye, or bonne soirée. Knowing how to adapt one's language, depending on the person being addressed, is essential for communicating well in French. Upon arrival, one can say bonjour, bon après-midi, salut. When leaving, one use au revoir, bonne soirée, bonne fin de journée. These expressions vary according to the time of day and the degree of familiarity with the person. Knowing them and using them wisely makes daily interactions easier. Depending on the situation, one adapts their response. If a person introduces themselves, one can say « Enchanté et de vous rencontrer ». If receiving something, one responds « Merci beaucoup ». During a first meeting, one can use Ravi de faire votre connaissance. These formula demonstrate politeness and consideration for the other person. Ways of greeting vary according to culture. In New Zealand, the Maori practice the honji, a traditional greeting. In Thailand, people say sawadi. In Japan, it is konnichiwa. In French-speaking countries, one uses bonjour. These differences demonstrate the richness of intercultural exchanges and the importance of adapting to each context. In a team setting, it is interesting to practice greetings using familiar or formal forms. Depending on the degree of closeness, one will choose tu for an informal atmosphere, or vous for more distance or respect. This distinction is essential in Francophone culture and helps to avoid awkward mistake. The way of greeting also depends on age and the relationship age a relation with the person. Generally, one uses the familiar form tutoyer with friends and people of the same age, même age, while one uses the formal form with strangers, older people, inconnus, or in a professional context. Contexte professionnel. Knowing how to adapt one's language. Adapter son langage is a mark of respect and integration into Francophone society. In French, the choice between tu and vous is fundamental. Tu is used with friends, family, or people of the same age. Vous is reserved for formal situation, stranger, or to show respect. Possessive déterminé change as well. Ton nom with tu, votre nom with vous. This rule applies to both speaking and writing. To introduce someone, one uses the verbs être and avoir in the present tense. For example, il est étudiant, elle a 20 ans. These simple sentences allow one to give essential information about a person. Knowing how to conjugate these verbs is indispensable for introducing oneself or talking about others. The verbs être and avoir are the pillars of the French language. In the present tense, they are conjugated as follows. Je suis, tu es, il divisé par elle, divisé par on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, il divisé par elles sont, j'ai, tu as, il divisé par elle, divisé par on a, nous avons, vous avez, il divisé par elles ont. Mastering these conjugations allows one to construct simple and effective sentences to introduce oneself or describe someone. To talk about oneself, one use personal information, name, nationality, âge, profession, etc. For example, je m'appelle Marie, je suis française, j'ai 25 ans, je suis étudiante. These simple sentences are the foundation of any introduction in French. Closed questions allow you to obtain a yes or no answer. There are several ways to formulate them, with intonation, with est-ce que, or by inverting the subject and the verb. For example, tu parles français? Est-ce que tu parles français? Parles-tu français? These structures are essential for interacting effectively. In certain French-speaking regions, the interrogative tu is used in spoken language, especially in informal situations. For example, tu comprends-tu? Elle parle-tu français? Elle moi. This form is colloquial and is not used with nous or vous. It allows for a more relaxed tone in the conversation. To communicate well, it is necessary to know how to associate each question with the right answer. For example, to the question, quel est votre numéro de téléphone? One responds with a series of numbers. To votre code postal? One gives a combination of letters and numbers. This skill is essential during registration or administrative procedure. Open-ended questions invite a detailed response. They are formed with interrogative words like comment, où, quel, combien. For example, où habitez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Depending on the context, the interrogative word can be placed at the beginning or at the end of the sentence, especially in spoken language. In writing or in a formal situation, the interrogative word is placed at the beginning of the sentence, followed by the verb and the pronoun. For example, comment t'appelles-tu? Où habitez-vous? In spoken language, one can use more familiar phrasing, but this form must be avoided in writing in an official context. During a registration or en administrative exchange, inscription, it is common to provide personal information, information personnelle, phone number, numéro de téléphone, postal code, code postal, full address, adresse complète. It is important to pronounce each digit clearly and to know common abbreviation, like app, for appartement, ave, for avenue, boule, for boulevard. In French, each digit of a phone number is pronounced separately. For example, 418, 394, 4918 is pronounced 418, 39, 4, 9, 1, 8. Sometimes the last four digits are grouped. This precision is important to avoid error during oral communication. To ask for a person's contact details, one asks questions like quel est votre numéro de téléphone? Quelle est votre adresse? Then, one can address an envelope following the model: name, address, postal code, city. These skills are useful in daily and professional life. Here is an example of a complete address. Adresse complète: Éric Morin, 174, rue des Érables, Trois-Rivières, Québec, Neufa de Fuy. It is important to respecter the order of the element, ordre des éléments. Name, number and street. Nom et rue. City, province, postal code ville et code postal. This structure facilite mail delivery, distribution du courrier, and the identification of the recipient. Destinataire. To register for an activity or a service, you often have to fill out a form remplir un formulaire with your personal information, information personnelle, last name, first name, nom, prénom, date of birth, date de naissance, adresse, phone number, adresse, téléphone, study programme, etc. Programme d'études. It is essential to read each field carefully, lire attentivement, and provide accurate information, information exacte, to avoid any problems later, éviter les problèmes. Let's take the example of Thomas, who wishes to register, s'inscrire, at the University Sports Center, centre sportif. He must indicate his name, nom, his date of birth, date de naissance, his address, adresse, his phone number, téléphone, his study program, etc. Programme d'études. This type of form is common, formulaire courant, in educational institutions, établissements scolaires, and when registering for activities. Now it's your turn. À votre tour to fill out a form, remplir un formulaire, with your own information, information personnelle, name, social insurance number, nom, divisé par numéro d'assurance sociale, adresse, date of birth, adresse, divisé par date de naissance, phone number, and email address, téléphone divisé par courriel. This practice will help you be ready, être prêt, for all administrative procedures, démarches administratives, in French, en français. In Canada. Au Canada, your social insurance number, SIN, numéro d'assurance sociale, NAS, is confidential. It should only be shared, partagé seulement, with official institutions such as bank, government agency, or employé, employeur. This rule protège your personal information and prevent fraude. To take things further, aller plus loin, it's advisable to sign up for a free activity or service, activité gratuite. This could be a class, cours, a club, en information session, séance d'information, or even a library, bibliothèque. These activities allow you to practice French, pratiquer, in a real-life context, contexte réel, and expand your social network, réseau social. Before registering for an activité, it is helpful to prepare a form, préparer, with your personal information, renseignements, name, âge, country, language, pays divisé par langue, profession, level of French, etc. Niveau de français. This form will serve as a référence, during the registration processus, and will facilitate communication with the organisateur. Today, many registrations are done online, en ligne. You then have to fill out digital forms numériques, check your information, vérifier, and sometimes attach documents, joindre des documents. It is important to proofread carefully, relire, before submitting valider, to avoid error, éviter les erreurs, and ensure your request is processed correctly, bonne prise en compte. Participating in an information session, séance d'information, is an excellent way to discover new activities, découvrir, and ask all your questions. Poser des questions. These sessions are often free, gratuite, and open to everyone, ouverte à tous. They allow you to meet other people, rencontrer, and integrate more easily, s'intégrer, into a new environment, nouvel environnement. Subscribing to the library is a simple process which opens access to many books, à de nombreux livres, resources and activities, ressources et activités. You just need to present an ID, une pièce d'identité, and to fill out a form, un formulaire. It is also an excellent way to practice French, de pratiquer le français, and to discover the local culture, la culture locale. Joining a club, such as a chess or swimming club, échec divisé par natation, allows you to meet people who share your interests, partager. Registration usually involve filling out a form and paying a membership fee if necessary, payer une cotisation. It's a great opportunity to integrate belle occasion and practice the language in a friendly environment, cadre convivial. Enrolling in a cours, whether it's a language, cours de langue, sport or art class, de sport ou d'art, is a common practice. You'll need to provide personal information and sometimes proof of address or identification, d'identité. This step allows you to acquire new skills, nouvelles compétences, and meet other learners. To progress in French, progressor, it is useful to sign up, s'inscrire. On a language exchange site d'échange. You create a profile there, créer un profile, with your personal information personnelles, and you can échanger, with people from all over the world. Monde entier, it is an excellent way, excellente façon. To practice the language, pratiquer, on a daily basis. Quotidien. Before participating in a language exchange, échange linguistique, it is advisable to préparer, a short self-introduction. Présentation, name, âge, country, profession, nom divisé par âge, divisé par profession, interest, centre d'intérêt. This facilitate, facilite, the first contact, premier contact, and allows starting, démarrer, the conversation more easily. A personal profile can contain name, age, nationality, profession, spoken language, interests. For example, je m'appelle Sophie, j'ai 28 ans, je suis française, je parle anglais et espagnol, j'aime la lecture et le cinéma. This profile is a valuable tool for all procedures in French. Participating in activity, participer, signing up for clubs or courses, allows integrating more easily into local life. Vie locale. This offers the opportunity to practice French, to discover the culture, découvrir, and to make new friends. Nouveaux amis. Engagement in the community is a key step, étape clé, in learning. In this episode, dans cet épisode, we saw how to greet saluer, introduce oneself se présenter, ask questions, poser des questions, and register for activities in French, s'inscrire. We discovered the importance of adapting one's language according to the context, of structuring information well and respecting data privacy, confidentialité. These skills are essential for successful integration, and procedure, démarche, in a francophone environnement, milieu francophone. To progress, progressor. Do not hesitate to practice regularly. Greeting your colleagues. Saluer. Asking questions. Poser des questions. Filling out forms. Remplir. Participating in activities. Participer. The more comfortable you are with this procedure, à l'aise, the easier and more pleasant your integration will be. Integration. The key is daily practice, pratique quotidienne, and openness to others. To go further, aller plus loin, consult your language school's resources, ressources, Francophone cultural centers, centre culturel, or language exchange site d'échange. This tool will help you to deepen your knowledge, connaissance, and to meet other motivated learners, rencontrer. Thank you for watching this episode. Merci. Dedicated to communication and registration in French. Inscription. Continue to practice, pratiquer, to introduce yourself, se présenter, and to exchange with others, échanger. Each meeting rencontre is a new opportunité, to learn and progress, progressor. Good luck in your learning of French.